Welcome to General Navigation for Teachers. Please access this deck via the short link listed, QR code, or the link in the chat. This session will cover navigation, searching for student information, navigating the teaching center, and access to additional resources. Once signed into NC Ed Cloud, you'll look for this icon to access Infinite Campus. Generally, you'll access via your computer, but you can access on a mobile device using a browser. Parents and students can access via an app downloaded from an app store. This shot demonstrates what it would look like to navigate to the attendance panel from the teaching center. Now we'll jump into a training site and take a look at the navigation bar and start with the main menu toggle button. The first button is the menu toggle button, which will hide or display the side panel. The main menu consists of three additional buttons, which will show the main menu with the folder, the star, which will display your favorites, and the recent tools when you click the clock. Menu display toggle will influence how you see your tool availability. So, for example, when you click instruction, you get a flyout menu of the tools that are available in your account. If you click here, you will see your tools as a list rather than a flyout. So you will see them in your sidebar. Clicking this will will toggle that for you, but if your screen display is zoomed in, you lose the ability to make that toggle. So if you don't see that option, you need to change your display settings so that you can toggle that back on and off. The next icon is the search menu. When you click that, you get the option to select a type of search. For teachers, it's likely student and tool, and then the search bar where you can enter search information. Moving along the top of the navigation bar, we have the Infinite Campus icon, which will take you back to your home screen. And for a teacher, it is the Teaching Center. And just to demonstrate that, we'll navigate to a different screen. This is the Message Center. When you click on Infinite Campus, it takes you back to the Teaching Center. Moving further along, this button is the context switcher, which will allow you to navigate between different schools that you may serve. So, for example, this account only serves one high school, but if you serve multiple schools, you would see them in the drop-down list here. Once you select another school, it will automatically populate to the correct calendar. Then you'll click save and you'll be able to access that information. Moving on is the notification icon, which will give you notifications or an indication of a notification for messages and other items. Um, Next is the help icon. This icon will function really well in your live site. When you navigate to a tool, let's say the curriculum library, and you're not too sure about what the curriculum library is, if you navigate to this tool and click the help icon, a new tab will open in the knowledge base about the curriculum library. So this tool will help you find information about the tool you're looking at. Next is the apps button. The campus community is the button that will be helpful for you. It will take you to great resources once you're in your live site. The last button in the navigation bar is the user menu button. So from this user menu, you can log off. You can click open to see the current version of Infinite Campus that your PSU is on. and then instruction settings. So this option is also available in the gradebook, but from here you can decide what you land on when you sign in. And for teachers, campus instruction is likely the best option. Then you have options to either show or not show active students only, to show student number, pronouns, to include the picture, and to use canned comments. And then you also have the option for your gradebook settings to show colors for scores or grades and then mute those colors. Like I said, you can get to this from your gradebook as well. I'm gonna close that out and then actually click Infinite Campus to get back to my home screen. When you click on Community, you open a new tab that provides access to professional development and content to address questions. So you land on the community page. From here, you can see the news updates, and you've got some options across the top. The forums button will take you to forums that have existed for a long time, spanning the existence of Infinite Campus. But you can see that there are state specific forums for North Carolina. You can access them here and pose questions that will folks in North Carolina will be able to address. But you can scroll through and see lots of different topic areas that may people may have posed a question that you also have. So you can type in a search and see what folks have said about different topics of interest. The next button is the knowledge base, which is a searchable index of um, tools inside Infinite Campus, and you can use this search bar as well. And if you have a question about posting grades, you can find an article, videos, or even simulations here. So you could click on those and take a look at each of these items. Lots of good information and screenshots. You also have the ability to favorite these articles so that you can get to them quickly. They live over here in your sidebar favorites, and then you'll see the things that you've added to your favorites list. The last button I want you to see is this Campus Passport, and you may have already jumped into this prior to getting your live site, but the Campus Passport um, provides content, recorded videos or professional development, and they record their yearly event series, which they do more PD. So you can search here and find additional um, content to watch on all things Infinite Campus. So you'll get here from the, I think it's the apps button, and then clicking community. So that's it for the navigation bar. Now we'll get into student searching. You can search for a student by clicking the search icon. By default, you will search for student information. In order to find your students, you can quickly click the second search icon and it will display all of the students that are attached to you via a course or section. I can click reset and then I can also search by last name just by typing in the last name. And reset again. And if I'm not sure how to spell, I could just enter the first three letters of the last name and find the student. If I don't know the last name, I can enter comma, space, and the first couple letters of the first name, and I can find my student. So a couple search options using the search bar. You also have the advanced button at the bottom. Student search menu allows you to search by a few different pieces of information. So, for example, you could select the grade toggle and search for a specific grade. Looks like I have one 10th grader assigned to me. and hit reset and back to advanced, and I could search for all of the male students that I'm responsible for and see that I have 11 students that are male assigned to me. Reset. I'm gonna search for Peggy, and when I click on her, my um, I open into the student summary tool. If I knew that I was going to frequently access the summary tool for all of my students, I could click the star in this tool, and if I toggle to my main menu and my favorites menu, I can see my summary tool listed in my favorites menu. So this tool or this star option is available on most tools that you can add to your favorites list if you know you're going to access them frequently. So I landed into the summary page, which is information about a student in their home environment or people that they are connected to at home. So I can see across the top Peggy's name, her student number, grade, date of birth, and also her counselor listed. Underneath that first row are flags that have been assigned to Peggy, and these, if you hover over them, may give you a little bit more information about the flag. So I can see that she's got a 504 for extra time and her gifted advisor. You can also see flags listed in the related tools menu, and so this may or may not be automatically toggled on, but you can click the related tools button and show the tools. So this list of tools um, matches when you click on the main menu and student information and general. Okay, so that is the same as the breadcrumbs that are listed here, student information, general, and I'm in the summary tool. So you can get to these tools in both places. You can click on student information and navigate to the tool you need here, or you can find a student and then use the related tools menu on the right. So looking at the summary for Peggy, I can see her bus information, her household and address. And if look on the side here, I have her quick contacts. And her father and step parent are listed here with a blue G. That's an indication that this individual or these individuals have been labeled as guardians. The guardian indication is important because individuals with that indication will have options to create a parent portal account. Only individuals with the guardian indication can get a parent portal account. Um, so as I scroll, I can see emergency contact priorities, father, step parent, and then aunt, and another emergency contact listed there. In the center panel, I can see households, and her primary household, where she's living primarily, is the address listed there and the individuals living in that household, as well as siblings. If I keep scrolling, I can see her secondary household, in which she's attached with her mother, and then her non-household relationships. So folks that are still a contact for her, but she is not living with. So the student summary will provide information about the student outside of the building. The profile tool is information about Peggy in the building. So her in progress grades, current absences for the year, attendance letters that may have been sent, any past due assignments or recently created assignments, and then any behavior incidences that have been added for Peggy. This profile page looks similar to the advisory page inside the teaching center. So profile is info about the student in the building, summary info about the student outside of the building. You can also see the schedule from related tools, and this is displaying her schedule for the entire year. If I look at the bottom and click calendar, I can choose a day schedule. And when you display the day schedule, you'll get a red line indicating the current time and the where Peggy is at the moment right now. So I can see she's in period phi and AP economics. I can also look at a week agenda or a week view or an agenda view. So that's the student schedule. You can also look at attendance a little more closely. Attendance defaults as present. So if Peggy had shown up to school every day, you would not see anything here. The colors are indications of absence events. So she's had some excused absences and one unexcused absence. As you take attendance as a teacher, they will show here in yellow. And once your data manager codes the absence, either excused or unexcused, it will turn either green or red. So I can scroll and see the different courses that she has absences for. I can see each term listed here, and I could print a PDF or a doc of a day report or a period report. And click for that, hopefully. All right, so I can also look at grades for Peggy for each section that she's in. I'm currently looking at the fourth term, fourth quarter, and you can see here that I've got an indication or different font weights, which are an indication of posted or final grades or in progress grades. So a posted or a final grade will be the bold or the heavier weight font, and the normal weighted font, those are in progress grades, her running average as of right now, or as of the grades that have been entered into the grade book. So I can scroll and see all of the grades that she has for the current term. There are a few other tools over here your PSU may or may not use, but those are the frequent ones that you might navigate to most. Now we'll take a look at the teaching center. This is an example of what the teaching center might look like for a kindergarten teacher. This teacher is taking attendance in only two sections, the AM section and the PM section in the top row of the teaching center. This teacher would take attendance by clicking the person icon on either card in the teaching center. To open the classroom tools for each section, just click on the blue link or name of the section. This example of a teaching center shows 11 sections of a music course. Clicking the blue link will open an option to see each section. This example is a high school teacher that takes attendance each period. Let's take a look at the buttons available on a course card. From the left, the attendance button, then assignments, then section feed, student questions, and engagement check-in. The cards for your sections may look different based on the tool rights assigned in your PSU. The gear icon on each course card will open classroom settings where you can modify the course name, course color, and course icon. This is an example of some sample Teaching Center course cards. Attendance may or may not be taken in each course or section. Now let's get a look at what each of these buttons can do. The first one is attendance. I have a green check in this one, which means I've already taken attendance. So let's look at this one. When I click the button, a flyout menu appears with the students in my roster. I can click A to mark a student absent, and I can click T to mark a student tardy. When I click an A or a T, I get the option to enter a comment. I can enter a comment like, and once I save, that comment will be visible in the student portal and the parent portal. Comments are not required, so I can remove my comment and save again. When I close this, after saving, I get a green check, which means my attendance is complete for this section. The next button is the assignments button. When I click this, a flyout menu will appear and will be set to display any unscored assignments. The speech bubbles icon is the section feed button. This feature is new in the June update. This feature allows a teacher to share a message with all the students in a section, and based on individual section settings, students may or may not be able to reply. Section feed settings are accessible via the gear icon. Each section feed will have settings that need to be adjusted by the teacher. Section feeds can be made available to students, parents, or both. Student questions is another tool that can be enabled by the PSU. This tool allows each student to ask one question at a time. Enabled by the PSU, teachers have the ability to enable or disable the student question tool. Clicking the gear icon and unchecking this box will eliminate the student question option. Questions posed by students are only visible between the teacher and the student who posed the question. The final button in the course card is the engagement check-in. Click the smiley face, then add. Give your check-in a title, and then choose from the pre-created questions. You can add a follow-up question if you'd like, and then save. Your students will respond by clicking the engagement icon. Now we'll jump into the classroom tools. The link for a course will take you into the classroom tools. Once in the classroom, you can toggle to your other sections for the term. The classroom tools are across the top: classroom, curriculum, students, and grades. The first tab, classroom, will display assignments or tasks that are due today or in progress. You also will see your section feed information, and on the right side, you'll see class info. Likely, you will see your email address, classroom number, and contact information. You can also add a classroom web page from the gradebook that will display here. Additionally, you see this Take Attendance button. You can take attendance from the classroom page or from the students page using students and then attendance. The next tool from this page is curriculum. If you click on the curriculum tab, you will see a running list of all assignments or tasks created within the section. I can toggle to display one term or all terms. I can also toggle to display unscored or unreleased, unscored, or missing assignments, as well as different task types. From this page, you have the option to add curriculum. If I click the drop down arrow, and if enhanced curriculum is enabled at my PSU, I can choose from a variety of tasks to create. If I click the add button, I will go to the assignment creation page. We'll walk through creating an assignment. I'm going to click the blue add button from my curriculum page. This brings me to my assignment details page. I must add a title. I'm naming this Week 1 quiz. I'm going to show you here this abbreviation is automatically generated based off my title. The abbreviation can only be 5 characters, but you can
modify it if you want. So I'm just going to name it quiz 1 there. And the sequence will show the order in the gradebook. There are several required fields, but many of them will be populated by a default. So my start date and my end date are required, but they are listed as today. I can choose who I want to assign this to based on student groups, and I can make student groups in my gradebook. I'm going to leave this with all assigned. I could alternatively click and select manually which students I wanted to assign this to. I'm going to leave it with everybody. I want this assignment to be graded, so I'll leave the grading on. Then I can choose my category for my assignment, and I think this is coursework. My term grade is selected. That's where my grades need to land so that they'll be calculated. I want points to be my scoring type, and I want this to be worth 100 points. So those are all of my required settings. If your PSU has enhanced curriculum enabled, you will see the option for summary or the ability to attach content or an additional task. I'm going to say, please complete the quiz in class. That's all I want to say there. And then I'll say save. If I knew I was teaching multiple sections of this same course and they needed this quiz also, I can click save and add sections, and my other sections I'm teaching will show on my sidebar. Let's say I also want to assign this to my calc and my trig classes. I select them and click OK. I can modify the start dates and end dates from this page. I can change my point value here. I'm going to leave everything the same and click Save Changes. Now this assignment will show up in all of the courses I selected. So if I have scores already, I could click Score, and I could add my scores here for this quiz. I could also choose to mark this assignment with the flags that I have available, or add a comment for each student if needed. Once complete, I would click Save at the bottom. Teachers can add flags to assignments that have been turned in or not turned in by students. From the Curriculum tab, you can edit the assignment. I'm going to open up my quiz I just created by, in the Curriculum tab, clicking on Week 1 quiz, then click Score. Then I can enter scores here. I can choose flags here. The flags I have available are turned in, missing, late, incomplete, cheated, exempt, or dropped. The missing flag will show here and will auto calculate to the percentage that is set by the school in settings. These can be modified to a different percentage based on each school. Alternatively, the cheated icon is the other flag that will auto calculate a score. If you mark an assignment cheated, it will calculate the score as a 0. No matter what you put in as the score, it will be calculated as a 0.
Careful consideration should be taken when using the cheated icon, and a contact with a parent or guardian may be necessary before using that flag.
This percentage cannot be modified in settings. As also, each of these flags will be displayed in the parent and the student portal, and those will be visible as soon as you mark them. In addition, comments added to assignments are also visible in the student and parent portal. These flags will show here in this assignment panel in the curriculum, and they will also show in your gradebook. We'll show you that now. So I'm going to toggle to the grades menu. look at my quiz 1, and if I hover over the indicator in the corner, I can see this was marked late and this was marked cheated. Additionally, you can add flags from within the gradebook by clicking in the score box and the blue arrow on the right. I can see all of my flag availability and I can enter comments here. So, multiple places to flag or add comments for assignments.
The next tool available in classroom navigation is the Students tool.
From the Students tool, you can see your roster and you have a couple other options or other related tools under Students. From the roster page, you can click on the name of a student to see student details. You can print this if needed. You can also use the tool Advisory and use the eye icon to hide all other students and just display one student at a time. This tool will be handy if conferencing with students individually. You can toggle to late assignments, missing assignments, and non-passing grades. The next button is attendance. You can take attendance from this panel. You could also use attendance via a seating chart, which is another tool that you can use in the students panel. Seating charts can be created based on the section you're in once given a name. You can customize how many columns and rows and desk spaces and click create. From there, you can drag and drop your students to design your seating chart. These seating charts are more valuable once student images have been imported. You will click the Save button, and then you'll have the option to access seating charts from the tool. Once I click on the section, I can see my saved seating charts and open. Another tool you can use that will help you when assigning assignments to small groups is the Student Group tool. You can click the New button at the bottom, give the group a name, and add students as needed and click Save. Those student groups will show up in your assignment panel when assigning. These tools will be based on tool rights and may look different in your PSU. Tab teachers have access to in the classroom navigation view is the Grades tab. This tab displays your roster and gradebook with all assignments you've created with as well as the scores entered. The blue sections can be clicked for more settings. For example, the settings flyout will offer many settings that can be customized given the tool rights via your PSU. Some of the settings you may want to address are categories, which determine which type of task you're aligning your assignment to. You may have the ability to add new categories based on your tool rights, or they may be predetermined by your PSU. Next, you may also have the option to modify how your grades are calculated under Grade Calc options. These may also be set and determined by your PSU. Moving along, the opportunity to create section groups. If you teach more than one section of the same course, you can add them all into one section group. You could do that by clicking Add, selecting the sections you want to include, and giving them a name and hitting Save. Next, we have a score analysis option where you can look at assignment and assignment scores, and you can shift click on score ranges to create a student group based on these scores. These student groups can be used when assigning future work. Another option you have in here is the ability to add a website address to your classroom page. You can list it there and click save. The option to modify the look of your gradebook with coloring. You can click the pass fail coloring settings button, and in the bottom of that panel you can choose to show coloring for grades and scores and whether or not to mute the coloring. The coloring unmuted looks like this, and then the coloring muted looks like this. Those are options you have in your gradebook. Or fly out window in your gradebook. So we'll close the settings menu and we'll open the grade totals menu. This menu provides both in progress grades and category averages, as well as the window that displays whether your grades have been posted or not. So the in progress grade is the running average that is calculated and set by your grade calc options. And so you'll see your points possible, or your points earned and your points possible, and the percentage. The category section shows the percentage earned in each category. You'll see this post grade option. This option is available when the grading window is open, and you know that the grading window is open because you see this option and because this panel is white. When the grading window is not open, this area is gray. So if it's the end of your term or end of the semester or end of the year, you'll post your grades by clicking post and making sure you're in the correct term, clicking OK, and we're going to click OK and OK. And essentially, it's going to copy the in progress grade over to your posted grade. I could also just change these if I wanted, if I wasn't quite ready to post, and just back this out. Just highlighting and deleting all of that. And so, post this button will just copy these grades over to here. So you could also just type them in and add comments if needed. I'm not going to save, I didn't make any changes. So features that are using standards-based grading, there is an additional tool that will be helpful. So I'll navigate to my standards-based grading gradebook, and I'm on the side panel in my grades window. I'm going to click on Progress Monitor. This tool allows you to see the running grades for each standard and the roll up that these standards roll into. If you use the gradebook view, in order to see all scores, you have to toggle the task dropdown to each individual standard to see these grades. So the progress monitor tool will be where you want to do the majority of your work in a standards-based grading gradebook. So I can click on each standard to open to see the assignments. So I can see my map analysis, teaching center cards, and unit 1 quiz all align to this standard, and I can modify grades for each of these if I'd like. I can click on my roll up standards and see the average of those being calculated for each roll up. I can click on assignments for a student, and I can see all of the students' scores for this standards based grading and the tasks or the standards that they're aligned to. And so when you create an assignment, you likely want to do the scoring within this window because you can see all tasks with all standards rather than navigating from one gradebook to another. So that's a quick look at Progress Monitor.
Next, we'll take a look at the reports that teachers have available to them in campus instruction.
Reports can be accessed from the main menu under Instruction and then Reports. These reports are available based on tool rights, so this may look different from your PSU. Essentially, clicking on one report will give you access to all of the other reports via a drop down. The first report we'll look at is the blank spreadsheet report. I'll click on that, and here is the toggle where you can select a different report. So from here, you can see all of the reports that were listed under instruction and reports. Your blank spreadsheet report allows you to configure with a title, a number of columns, and you can configure the column header types if you would like. If I click that, I can see that I've created a few header types or a few header titles for this blank spreadsheet that I want to use for the beginning of the school year. Click cancel there. I also have the option to use large font, shaded rows, showing the student number and removing my inactive students. I can choose to open this as a portrait or a landscape report, and I can choose to group or pick which section I want to print this report for. When I generate the export, I can use a PDF, or I can click the drop down arrow and generate a doc or a CSV. Your CSV will open in a spreadsheet tool that you can add columns and change your column headers as needed. Another report that might be useful for the beginning of the school year is the roster report. This roster report has numerous options that can be toggled on or off. And so you can choose to shade and choose your effective date, showing incoming or drop students, and then a plethora of student options on the side. Your student date of birth and including student picture will also be available. So this report will be handy for the beginning of the school year. You can also generate this as a spreadsheet or CSV file. Looking at other reports, you've got a missing assignments report that will report all assignments for each student that you have flagged as missing. The student summary will likely be a report that you could run if you needed a progress report. And you've got a variety of options here to show multiple students per page or just one, and then including assignment detail, which will be the most detailed report. And then you can toggle any of these on or off. You can add a teacher comment. If you run this report for all students in a section, it will print the same comment on each report. So use that in case you need to inform all parents in a section that maybe a unit test is coming up, or return permission slips for something. That information is going to go to each student. Then you can choose to only print this for a couple or whoever you need. And then you'll want to make sure that if you're running this for the fourth term, that you toggle these off if you only want to show fourth quarter. So you would come in here and just uncheck and just only show the fourth term. So that's a student summary report. Lots of options. And if you get one created that you love, you can click save. You can give it a name and say detailed progress report, and then you would always have the same settings set for that report. There are several other reports in here. You can toggle to them and check them out. If you have access to the training site, I encourage you to just jump in there and tinker.
This concludes the teacher navigation presentation. Thank you for joining us, and please reach out if you have any questions.